Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of the ECL Elite Division right here on Sports Gamer. My name is Tuki, joined, of course, by my broadcast partner in Mr. Sin for the win. Sin, it is week 3 of our winter season here with the ECL Elite Division. We have already seen some fantastic action this season, but today we kick it up a notch. Our second matchup today, a rematch from last year's championship round as Frölunda HC take on H-Reds. And of course, before that, we start off this broadcast with the red-hot SAWO Esports taking on Northern Ascendancy. Sin, how you doing and how you feeling about the action today?
I'm feeling great. These are two amazing matchups, and you said it, red hot for SAWO Esports. They came out of the gates looking pretty good, but I mean they took the 2 games off Havu last week, and they're 11-2-1 right now. Just a position where we all kind of thought they would be a contender, playoff team, but here they are. I'm probably thinking second place still. If things haven't changed too much with the bracket, but. Northern Ascendancy has their work cut out for them because they're still kind of trying to dig their way out of the hole they put themselves in early on in the season.
Absolutely. Let's get you a look at some of the latest results around the league before taking a look at the standings. Of course, Sawa mentioned as being in second place, but there you see Northern Ascendancy coming off of a series where they were able, I do believe, to pick up points against Granite, as surprising as that is. But of course, you could see Sawo from this past Monday's broadcast where they were able to pull off the double against Havu. Sin, what was it? Was it a double or a triple overtime? I think it was triple
Yeah,
against Havu on Monday. We call it Marathon Monday for a reason. We'll see if this becomes When Will It End Wednesday once again.
yeah, and it was a very, very hard fought victory for Sawa. A bit of a heartbreaker for Havu as they were, really kind of the better team throughout that game. You could maybe even argue at times in that first one as well, but failing to score a goal is obviously not what you want to see. So Havu is going to have a bad taste in their mouth after that. Sawa is going to continue rolling on here. As you can see, ZSC versus HV at 71. They kind of got a split right there, but ZSC walking away with 3 points, which is good for them. They definitely want to kind of get out of the position that they found themselves in so far this season. But other than that, a lot maybe could be expected from some of these other matchups. H-Reds taken to Färjestad and Goons having a tight match. It's turning out to be quite the season.
Indeed. Let's get a look at the standings as promised to show you how the league is shaped up so far. Again, the left-hand side of the bracket is where you want to be by the end of our 30-game regular season. And so far, of course, H-Reds, the only undefeated team remaining, a perfect 14-0 for our defending champions. Again, you'll see them in action a little bit later on. But of course, Sin, as some of these teams are just over a third of the way there, like for Frölunda, you have other teams, of course, that by the end of the day will be over the halfway point of the season. So now is the time where you start to look and say, like, okay, how much wiggle room does somebody have if they're not exactly where they want to be? How much time do they have to course correct before it's simply too late?
Yeah, at this point for some of these teams, it's starting to feel like too late. At the midway point in the season, if you're under 500, things aren't looking too good for your playoff chances, especially the way this bracket is sort of looking right now. If you look through really from 4 all the way down to 12, there's only 6 points of separation. That's, one good day, essentially. A couple decent matchups, and you can be right back in the mix there. It's really some of the tightest bracket that we've ever really seen in the ECL here, and it's just going to make for an incredible latter half of this season as teams scratch and claw to get into that playoff position.
Absolutely. And again, we mentioned the top 8 teams making the playoffs. Of course, we also keep an eye on the bottom half of that right-hand side. Of course, the team that finishes in 16th automatically relegated to our Pro Division. Teams 13 through 15 do have a chance to, at the very least, fight for their survival. But Sin, as we get into this matchup and look at these lineups, we see Northern Ascendancy in 14th. That is not where they expected to be. This is a team, of course, that has had playoff experience in the past, running with Dillinger, Captain Martindale up front, and Sada Poika. Sparker Romberg and Tansky on defense, and Saprix between the pipes. And heading into the season, we look at that lineup and say, okay, I think they could push for a playoff spot again. They have to be a little bit disappointed with just 3 wins in their first 14 games.
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing, some of the issues that we saw before sort of plaguing them, which is their lack of goal scoring. And at this case, too, on the defense and goaltending has been struggling a bit. And when those two things are kind of not going the way you want, it's a bit of a recipe for disaster.
Of course, on the other side there for again SAWO Esports, Yerska, Mozia, and Avatu up front. Captain Tombu and Wenger on defense. Nike between the pipes as well. And Sin, as we always do, we will get into our little head-to-head matchups here, and we'll start off with the centers again. Mozia versus Martindale for the specific matchup, and obviously the stats as well as the hair very much in favor of Mozia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 23 points versus the 11 of Martindale. And now, granted, Martindale has been kind of shifting around quite a bit the last few seasons between positions, usually on the front end, but he's played wing. He's played some center. He's kind of the guy who will go wherever is needed to fill out that role. And, this season, the center is not exactly, working out super, super well for him. But then again, not a whole lot of things are for Northern Ascendancy. He only has the 11 points. His face-off percentage is around 47%, which is below 50%. And he goes up against Moja, who's got 23 points in 14 games played. And you see that face-off percentage right there, 55.7%. This is going to be a tough matchup for Martindale, but he's an experienced player. He's been in this league a while. We'll see how he's able to handle it.
On the winger matchup here as well. Again, for SAWO, it is Yerska and Avatu. Two very dynamic offensive players, especially as we saw against Havu this past Monday. Of course, for Northern Ascendancy, Dillinger and Sada Poika. Sin, it's been a great season so far for Sada Poika. I mean, rivaling what Vatu's done, but it has been Yerska this season that has really stepped his game up and again had a very impressive performance. I mean, the dynamic counterattack of SAWO was incredible, really. And I mean, I think that's kind of our focus heading into today's action for SAWO has been this front three.
Yeah, it was impressive to say the least. Again, Yerska, Moza, Vatu there. This is kind of a breakout moment for all three of them. They're obviously been solid players, but we've never kind of, talked about them on, one of those top teams or in one of these top scoring positions. But here they are. I mean, 29 games for Yerska, 23 for Vatu, and the shot totals for them is what's really, really standing out for me. 52 and 64 respectively against Dillinger and Sadapoika, who again, not pretty decent points, especially for Sadapoika. But when you look at those shot totals, you can see perhaps maybe kind of symptomatic of Northern Ascendancy where they don't have the puck enough or simply not taking enough shots. That differential there is pretty glaring.
Absolutely. The battle on the blue line as well. Again, for Sabo, their captain in Tombu alongside Wenger. It is Sparka Romberg and the former captain of Rusty Blades and previously who we knew as Roots Gaming. It is Tansky there as well. Sin, I mean, again, you look at the numbers here, points-wise, it's relatively close, but unfortunately for Northern Ascendancy, again, the defense just hasn't quite been what they've needed it to be.
Yeah, it's been a bit difficult for them to kind of be able to rally in front of Sapreek's back there and at least try to keep the puck out of the net more often when they're struggling to score. But it's kind of right now everything's in a funk right now for Northern Ascendancy, and it's just one of those things where if something eventually has to give, or they've got to, change something and figure out some new plan of attack here. It's not going to be easy against a Sabo team, which is absolutely, seemingly on a run here. But again, you want to be in the elite division. You're going to have to take on teams like this and put up, solid fights and be able to take games off of.
The goaltenders are our last head-to-head here. It is Nike going up against Sapreeks. And Sin, again, we look at the numbers here. Absolutely incredible season so far for Nike. If he manages to keep up this pace, we are talking about a goalie of the year winner, not just a contender if he keeps up these numbers. And then for Northern Ascendancy, I mean, you mentioned it, Sapreek's save percentage, maybe not where he wants it, but I think that is kind of our focus, point for Northern Ascendancy heading into this matchup is that you would think with this team's goals against number being what it is, that Sapreeks would have a lower save percentage.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sapreeks is a very, very solid goaltender. We've seen him kind of stand on his head at times, and he has that 800 save percentage. So he is doing his job. He's trying to keep his team in a position to win. The goals against is kind of symptomatic for this Northern Ascendancy team. They have allowed the most goals in the league this season. Then oftentimes you find those teams in last place. They're not, and a lot of that, in part, is due to Saprix. But needless to say, that team defense has been one of their biggest issues, and this is the tough opponent to try to kind of correct that. But again, you got to start somewhere, and at this point, you're almost midway through the season. Best to start now.
Absolutely. So again, we are just a few moments away from puck drop. Again, every regular season matchup here in the Elite Division. Of course, the style more familiar to a lot of football fans out there. Each team plays each other twice in the regular season. One match day for it. So SAWO, again, looking to pick up 4 big points over Northern Ascendancy to keep their spot in the top 2. And again, for those of you just joining us a little bit later on, it is our championship rematch from ECL 12 as H-Reds, who are of course still undefeated, will be taking on former champions in Frölunda. It was an H-Red sweep. Absolutely stunning. This league, this division, still reeling from that outcome. So we look very much forward to that. We get no bigger matchup this season than that. So again, stay tuned for that. But of course, SAWO and Northern Ascendancy coming up, as we mentioned. SAWO still very much looking to keep that top spot. Northern Ascendancy, one of those teams, Sin, that find themselves in that rough spot. But we have seen teams, we saw it just a few minutes ago when we looked at the latest results, we have seen teams in NA's situation that have been able to at least get a couple of points here. And NA through the 14 games, 4 of those are overtime losses. You're talking about 4 extra points that really do help out their cause in trying to battle out of one of those relegation spots.
Yeah, and if they are, able to sort of battle their way out of that relegation spots, we could be looking at those overtime losses in a positive light. However, if they're not, they're going to be looking at those overtime losses as points that they dropped, and that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. In the hindsight of the standings, is that those extra those pity points, as we call them, can be nice, but also it kind of is shown to be that, yeah, well, they made it to all those overtimes. They weren't able to pick up that win. They weren't able to get that extra goal. So there's a lot that you can kind of glean from that sort of situation here. But we'll see what they want to bring. Obviously, they haven't been having the most success. We'll see if they're willing to shake things up here against SAWO.
So we saw in the lobby there as well, only 2 players, I believe it was Martindale and Satapoika, not running elite edges. Martindale with Unstoppable Force is his gold, and Satapoika, I believe, with Seeing Eye there. So intrigued to see how that plays out. Of course, we've seen the meta as well this season really be elite edges. A friendly reminder, as you see on screen there, of course, we have rebranded a little bit here. It is now Sports Gamer, of course, sportsgamer.gg. You can still use the old NHLgamer.com link as well, but Sports Gamer really kind of summing things up around here. It's a lot more than just the NHL competitive scene, of course, that you all know and love. So you get a look there, Sin, as well, for what these teams are playing for this season. Some big money up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the format here so different, but so very interesting. And I think again, the stakes just can continue to get higher here. 33,000 euro on the line in the total prize pool between winter spring season. Then, of course, the what's going to be a monumental grand final.
Absolutely. So with that, the action is underway. Again, thank you all very much for joining us. SAWO and Northern Ascendancy. Of course, SAWO in the yellow road jerseys here. And again, ECL Elite Division action brought to you by our friends at Kovlan Lakritsi, Wilhelm, and ST Hockey. As you see there in the corner as well, to Satapoika with the puck. Good opportunity, wearing his team's golden helmet as well. Again, signifying the team's leading scorer. So pay attention to that as well. And that's why you pay attention to it. It's Yerska with the golden helmet. It's Yerska with the opening goal less than 3 minutes into the game.
That's just a quick play from SAWO there. Such a good team, generating chances off the rush there. They feed it to him in that low slot after a nice bit of L-skating by Moja there. And Yerska just rips that one home as Saprix was kind of sliding. Thought that pass was perhaps going to go further along. Gets beat on that short side. And SAWO wasting no time, up 1-0.
So a huge result early on for them, Sin. Again, you can't get a better start to a game than that. And I guess unless you're Northern Ascendancy, works out to probably the worst start that you could have hoped for. Again, SAWO, second in the league so far this season. We were caught off guard a little bit in our preseason captain's poll to work out the season projected standings, where this team was projected to finish 5th. A shot there on net, and a good stop by Saprix. So they were projected to finish 5th, and you're like, okay, I mean, maybe I can see that. Seems a little bit high. And they've lived up to all expectations. If you see another kick save, Sapreeks having to be on his game early on. That one through the blue paint. Back across, trying to get the shot off. Yerska denied again. And still it's SAWO in possession. They kick back to the point. Wenger from Mozia. Around the back, Vatu tried to go back to him. Well done by Sparker Ronberg. Very impressive work from SAWO in the attacking zone. Vatu frees it up. Mozia back across. Couldn't find its intended target. Yerska over from Mozia, blocked again. Vatu knocked off the puck, but he gets it back. Incredible work from SAWO. Sparker Ronberg has nowhere to go. Wenger gets it back, deflects off the one-timer, off the man in front. Mozia throws it off the side of the goal. Still trying to win this one back. Martindale has no choice but to send it down the river just to get a little bit of a break. Incredible offensive work from SAWO.
That was plain and simply dominant from SAWO. They, even when they lost the puck race, they had men there with poke checks coming in to knock it free again. That was just like a pack of hungry wolves right there on that puck, and maybe not done yet. Nice shot there coming out from Tombu. Turned aside by Sapreeks.
So back down to Yerska. Another one-time attempt there for Vatu, broken up. Check there in the corner, though, and a little bit of a break for Northern Ascendancy. It will be a trip, actually. Look more like a check, but it will be Yerska to the box. And a good chance now for Northern Ascendancy to hopefully build a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, that was, they were really kind of hemmed into their zone right there. Yerska, the aggression kind of comes back to bite him with that stick check. We'll see what Northern Ascendancy can do, and actually it's going to be 5-on-3 as another trip is called on Tombu.
Good save on the short side by Nike, but indeed it'll be a minute and 44 seconds of 5-on-3. Northern Ascendancy heading into today with a bottom 3 power play. SAWO with a top 5 PK, so let's see what happens here. This is a huge moment for Northern Ascendancy as Sadapoika works it back to Tonsky. No net front presence. Pass off the mark was intercepted and cleared. A chance here now. Again for Northern Ascendancy. Trying to get something going. They do gain the blue line. Tonsky is down. Sparker Romberg stepping in. Rifles one through the slot. Nobody home. Back over to the far side. Looks like we've had a disconnect, Sin. So
I'm curious because, it should be 5-on-3, but there's 4 SAWO skaters out there, and I see 2 of them in the box. I don't know if we miscalled that or something, and now that there's a CPU out there.
And now someone else just stepped out of the box for SAWO. I am very confused.
I am incredibly confused.
Happened.
And we get
and now all 5 Northern Ascendancy players are there.
That is extremely unfortunate for Northern Ascendancy there. They were robbed of a 5-on-3, didn't even have their full players out there. However, they get a lucky break and it goes in.
It is being waved off. I have no idea what's happening anymore. We call this game unpredictable at certain points. And indeed, it is a no goal. Immediately waved off by the official. What has happened here in the last 2 minutes of this broadcast? What a way to kick things off here. I guess we can only call it as it is. We're back to 5-on-5 and still a 1-0 lead in favor of SAWO, who I guess technically survived a 5-on-3.
Yeah, they've shattered all expectations for the season, and apparently in doing that have completely shattered reality there, as I still cannot figure out what the heck happened. But as you said, we're just back to 5-on-5 here as Northern Ascendancy trying to gain the zone to establish a bit of something. Unfortunately, a goal being called back does mean this game still 1-0 for SAWO.
Incredible is the only way I think we can sum that up here, Sin. There are some times that some things happen in this game where, let's be honest, we got to call it as it is, and sometimes you can't call it as it is because you don't really understand what happened. Yeah. But we continue on. It is SAWO into the attacking zone here now. Mozia on that right-hand wall again sends it down low to Yerska. Back skating to get it back to Mozia. Great pressure. Working it behind the goal. Vatu recovers in the corner, sends it to the point. Good D-to-D work there from Wenger and Tombu. Wenger sauces one through. Vatu recovers it, and a big stop by Sapreeks off of that turnover. Sapreeks has had to make some very big saves here early on in this first period.
Yeah, he really has, and he's been doing his best, sort of looking like he's in survival mode a bit. Not that he's scrambling in the crease, but he's having to move laterally so quickly because SAWO are able to change directions with all their passes, force him to be cutting over and try to defend certain looks, and he's just, not getting enough relief there. Northern Ascendancy can't gain the line.
There's Tombu, final 20 seconds of the period. Moja dishes down to Yerska, again back to Tombu, has Wenger. Wenger looking at his options. Closing in, loses the puck. Martindale clears, and that will do it for the opening 20 minutes. We can't say it wasn't eventful, but we will get a look here one more time at the opening goal from Yerska, his 15th of the season. A point, or I should say even a goal per game pace that he has continued here, Sin.
And he's just looking incredibly well. He's actually tied for second in total points, and if he has another good day here, could get could move himself all the way over. As you could see there, how nice that was for Northern Ascendancy. He had one man slowing up in that slot, and then two men driving the net. So Moja, with his L-skating, had two passing options. He opted to go on the quick one to Yerska, but that had to, Saprix had to kind of, try to play both options there, as it's hard to kind of know where that puck's coming from. He moved to the center of the net, and so Yerska's able to beat him on that short side there. So we're going to see another couple looks here down low, and I mean, just excellent work from Saprix, as we said, to keep his team in it in a period where they were really just being, I would say they were just under siege near the entire period. It was just SAWO attacking wave after wave after wave, and Northern Ascendancy at times just simply in survival mode, as we actually saw them taking icing just to get a breath.
Second period underway here, and SAWO trying to get right back in on the attack. A little bit off the mark there with that pass, and they will look to reset again. The time on attack was incredibly one-sided. There will be no icing here. We'll see if Northern Ascendancy can kind of get their breakout going. They have struggled to do so far. They do time it well at the line. Martindale the chance. Loose puck bouncing around. It was Moja that was able to settle it down. Back down the other way here. Yerska for SAWO. Knocked off the puck by Sadapoika. Again, nowhere to go in the neutral zone. Martindale is able to recover, only momentarily, turns it right back over. SAWO able to gain the line, but again, nowhere to go. Bit of, don't want to call it sloppy, but certainly a little bit chippy out there. Not a lot of passes hitting their intended targets. Here's Vatu, shot on, handled well by Saprix, paddled it over to the half wall. Here's Wenger stepping in again for SAWO. Martindale, good defense to take it away from him. Again, struggling to hold on to that puck as they look to gain the zone. No icing on the play one more time. Sparker Romberg able to send it up the wall. Turned over. Vatu's shot and a good blocker stop by Saprix. Loose puck recovered by Dillinger. Tried to throw a backhand on. Missed wide. Glove side. Martindale gets taken down. Unstoppable force? I think not. As that one sent all the way up to Yerska. Has a little bit of space. Moja, the one-timer for Vatu. And another big glove save by Saprix. And Sin, our focus in the pregame was talking about Saprix making big saves and the defense not able to really, prevent a ton of shots being surrendered. It's what we're seeing so far in this game.
Yeah, we absolutely are. And on the flip side, SAWO, once the Northern Ascendancy get themselves established, SAWO just kind of goes into that collapse and just dares them to come forward. Martindale came forward with that unstoppable force, yet he met an immovable object and got absolutely floored right there. And then the counterattack was on, and that's seemingly what SAWO wants to do. Defend, counterattack, and they're doing a really great job of it so far.
There's Yerska for Vatu again, back to Wenger at the point. Super heavy collapsing work from Northern Ascendancy, trying to prevent those shots. They have a chance going down the other way. Or at least they did. Wenger able to shut that down as soon as it started. Now by Sadapoika here on the forecheck. Just 8 minutes to go in the second period. A big hit there. It is Sadapoika able to at least regain his stick. Let's see what SAWO can do. Much as we talk about this dominating performance, it's always a bit of nervous energy when you only have the one goal to show for it. Anything can happen. This puck is offside with 6:24 to play.
Yeah, but once again, SAWO just dominating the possession game, and it's not just about time on tack. They're in the neutral zone as well. They're able to reset, get looks if they want. They haven't even tried to dump and chase. Their confidence level is sky high right now, knowing that they can eventually break in through that blue line. There's a turnover right there. Vatu will take it in.
Drops back from Moja. Again, a bit too much traffic. That was by the Northern Ascendancy defense. Sadapoika had to try to split the difference there. Wasn't able to do so. Fantastic effort from Tambu and Wenger, the SAWO defenders, so far in this game. As it's Vatu. Shot on, blocked down by Moja. Moja sends it back to Vatu. One-timer again, blocked. Second chance on the backhand. And Supreeks is able to make the save. And SAWO right now, I mean, there's a couple of different ways you could read that. But regardless, still a 1-0 lead and dominating this game.
Yeah, they're just soaring with confidence. We saw it against Havu, a lot of that coming out. So a lot of the personality and the confidence, and the swagger really on display for SAWO here. They're feeling good about themselves. They're feeling good about themselves in this game, despite just the 1-goal lead.
Here's Yerska. Shot on. Another good blocker stop by Supreeks. Vatu has it below the goal line. Looking at his options. Tried to get it to Moja on the right. Moja dishes back to the point. Wenger stepping in. Moja, short side, blocked by the traffic in front, still scrambling for it. Sparker Romberg comes up with it. Lost it for a moment, gets it to Tansky. That outlet pass off the mark. SAWO right back in on the attack. Final minute of the second period. Moja again, nowhere to go. Sin used the term under siege. Yes. I think you hit the nail on the head. Here's Tambu to Wenger. Back for Tambu. Down low for Vatu. In front, broken up. Dillinger able to hold on to it. That brings us to the end of the second period. And Sin, while SAWO couldn't find the back of the net, at the very least, just a crushing offensive presence, much like that hit. And Northern Ascendancy still yet to really get anything going.
Yeah, and that's kind of unfortunate. Even on their sort of whatever we'll call that power play, they couldn't really get established. They did at times, but they weren't really able to get into the middle. Even when they, finally got themselves established, as we saw with Martindale, the second he tried to even move towards that middle, he was just met with a brick wall. And that's just what SAWO has been able to do so far this season. That's what they're doing. It's on display in this game, and you can see how good it does against, a team perhaps not as strong as the Havus or anything else here in Northern Ascendancy, and they're just able to dictate the pace of the game, get what they want. Although they only have, the one bright spot for Northern Ascendancy, you're only down by one. You get that one bounce, you're right back in this game. One shot is all it takes right here. See if they're able to find it here in this third.
Indeed, the third period underway. Another pass thrown in front, broken up. But SAWO picking up where they left off, right back in the offensive zone. As Moja sends it down low for Vatu. Tried to find Yurska. One more time, that's broken up. Martindale not able to gain the line cleanly. Dillinger offside. And Sin, like you mentioned, it's been one of the most dominating offensive performances we've seen, but still just one goal to show for it. This one's far from over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we say it all the time. Shots, time and attack, all that's well and good, but it all depends on how many go in the back of the net at the end of the day here. But, I mean, also the flip side, I mean, how's the other team going to score when they can't even get the puck into your defensive end? So Northern Ascendancy needs something right here. They tried to sneak Dillinger up the middle right there. I kind of like that. Kind of a nifty play, just trying to force a pass through, but fortunately it was intercepted.
Yurska at the line, throws it on deflection, and it is being waved off. I did see Vatu in the crease.
He was actually behind the goaltender right there. That's interesting positioning, and yeah, that will be waved off indeed. You don't see that too often.
Brett Hall somewhere is wondering what's wrong with that and why it was waved off. Sparker Romberg can't handle that rebound. SAWO right back in on the attack. Moja's pass picked off. Wenger gets a freebie and slap shot on. Bit too much traffic in front one more time. Sparker Romberg knocks it off of Moja. Sadapoika waiting for the help. Martindale. Good movement here. Shot on. Save. And I mean, it looks like an easy save for Nikkei, but when you've seen as little in terms of shots against as Nikkei has in this game, any shot can kind of catch you off guard. You haven't really been able to get into your groove.
Yeah, and especially if that rebound pops out into an interesting location with skaters bearing down on you, can be a bit jarring.
Sadapoika's shot. Good kick save by Nikkei. Again, a phenomenal start to his season. An offside there for SAWO. Just under 13 minutes to play here in the third period. Again, the first game of 2 between these two teams here tonight. A little bit later on, again, our championship rematch as Frölunda HC take on our undefeated defending champions in H-Reds, who are, I do believe, yes, and at this point, it is a perfect 14-0. We'll see if they can continue that. Nearly half a season played, still undefeated. As incredible as that is. Northern Ascendancy do get the puck back. A little bit of space for Dillinger to work with down the wing. The spin. Held on to it a little bit too long. Yerska was able to get back and take it away, and it's SAWO. Going right back down the other way, it's Wenger now. Looking at his options. Likes to play it up to Tambu. One-timer from Yerska. Good stop by Saprix. Bit of space here for Dillinger going down the other way. Draws the trip. As Sadapoik is able to keep it alive for the moment, it will be the third power play for Northern Ascendancy in this game. Let's hope this is the full 2 minutes this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what they're able to do. They got to establish themselves and, you know, just be able to get some looks here.
Loose puck there, Nikkei. Able to play that one off the pad and make the cover. And any offensive look for Northern Ascendancy right now is an outright positive. We'll see what they can do here on the face-off. Again, Martindale coming into this matchup with a disadvantage in the numbers on the season, but they do win the draw. Sparker Romberg can't hold on to it, and Wenger able to send it all the way back to the NA zone.
It's just been suffocating. No matter what zone it's in, SAWO sticks and bodies are right there to break up these plays that Northern Ascendancy are trying.
Tomsky can't get that shot off clean. Moja risks it a little bit, doesn't pay off. They turn that puck over. Tonsky looking. Pass in front. Extra pass. Big glove save by Nikkei. Northern Ascendancy trying to keep this puck alive. Vatu can't clear. Behind the goal line. Nowhere for Dillinger to go. Wenger is able to send it out, and that should do it. So a couple of interesting looks there for Northern Ascendancy, but again, nothing to show for it. SAWO. Perfect now. 3 for 3 on the kill. Wenger hands it off to Tambu. 6.5 minutes to play. Still just 1 goal for SAWO here. They scored 2.5 minutes into this game. Northern Ascendancy having to move that puck around a lot. Here's Sadapoika. Shot on. Save by Nikkei. Makes it look easy.
And I like the mentality coming out from Northern Ascendancy. They know they're not really going to be able to get that puck easily into those higher percentage scoring areas, so they're just kind of ripping it from the perimeter, looking for rebounds, looking for someone to get there. Again, if they're down by 2, it might be a bit of a situation, but they're still only down by 1 here.
The unfortunate moment there as the puck goes back to the point. There's nobody home. 4 minutes to play in this one. Here comes Tonsky. Sparker Romberg to Dillinger, who's playing in NHL 2033, where maybe offsides don't exist. The future is now, Sid. The future is now. Off the draw. Again, Dillinger just not able to hold on to that one. SAWO into the attacking zone one more time here. Bit of space. Vatu able to drive the net freely. Good stop. Saprix denying him on the backhand. Wenger. Down for Moja, looking at his options, trying to fend off the pressure from Sparker Ronberg, and the puck one more time sent out by Northern Ascendancy. Sadapoika won it back, but it just trickled over the line. We have an offside call.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for them. That could have been a nice little turnaround right there with some of the SAWO players beginning to make their way up the ice. They could have had not necessarily an outnumbered situation, but just a bit more space down there to get maybe a higher percentage look, but there's kind of been the story of it. They believe they're getting close to it and something happens, whether SAWO a defense or in that situation it's just the offside.
Gigantic hit from Yerska, but still Northern Ascendancy with control. Martindale trying to get it down low, a bit too much pressure. So we hit the final 50 seconds. Moja gains the attacking zone for SAWO. Dishes for Yerska. Finds his way back to Wenger, who goes down low. Vatu behind the back of the net. Martindale handles it well. Might be the last rush chance for Northern Ascendancy here. Puck into the far corner. Good pressure, but still SAWO have it. Good step up poke check. A lot of contact. SAWO able to clear Vatu in behind the defense. He's able to neutralize the icing. Great pressure there, and again, Sparka Romberg having trouble holding on to it. Vatu has it down low, just trying to bleed the clock. Wenger sends it back around. 12 seconds to go. Yerska for Vatu. He has it. Wraparound bid. He scores! Sin, he lost the puck, gets it back, buries it to the far side, and SAWO puts a cap on this one. It's 2-0.
Yeah, and that was just, a good job of them working it down low, facing their bodies the right way to protect that puck and not allow Northern Ascendancy to get any easy turnovers to turn that puck going the other way. And at the end of the day, Vatu able to come around the front of the net and slam that one home against Saprix, and that will do it in this one. SAWO going to be winning this game 2-0 here and really putting on one of the most dominant performances that we've seen this season.
Between the legs shot to end it. Vatu's team leading 17th goal of the season. Entered play today. Tied for third in the league in goal scoring. And Sin, again, you mentioned it. What a job done.
Yeah.
Excuse me there. But for Nikke as well, I wanted to point that out as my voice is betraying me here, unfortunately. Nikke, 6 shots for his 6th shutout of the season.
He has been absolutely on fire and no slowing down. Again, he didn't really face too many hard ones in that one, but he'll take it. Maintains the save percentage. The shutouts continuing to mount up for him. And this, I don't know. There's something going on with this SAWO team that everything seems to be working. And they got, they're defending well in front of Nikke. Nikke's making big saves when he needs to, as we especially saw in that Havu matchup. And the offense is doing what they need to do to win. They're getting tons of time on attack. They got a decent number of shots, and they got a couple goals, and maybe not the amount of goals that you perhaps maybe expect to see in this one. However, at the end of the day, they get the win, and that's what's most important, and that's what they get to walk away with. And we'll see what a Northern Ascendancy is going to be able to do in this second game. But another thing we kind of mentioned a bit, or touched on a bit, the dynamic offense of SAWO has been great, but they've been getting into a little bit of penalty trouble. They got a bit fortunate in this one, I think. They took a few in this one, and then that 5-on-3 for some reason, whatever happened there. They took a few against Havu as well, so that could be something down the road here, especially in the playoffs, that kind of comes back to sort of give them some issues here. That being said, though, the aggressive style does seem to suit them, as they are able to force turnover after turnover in all 3 zones.
Absolutely. So again, our first game of the day in the books. We will see the other side of this fixture. SAWO getting their home matchup. We'll bring that to you here in just a few moments. So stick with us. Let's get you a brief word from our sponsors, and we'll set the stage for that second game.
Ja Snacks ovat tuoneet hienosti lisää leveyttä Wilhelm-joukkueeseen. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody. Again, we are back. A big thank you to our friends, of course, at Philhelm and Koblan Lockhart, CST Hockey as well. Sin, a 2-0 victory for SAWO in that first game. Again, you mentioned it for Nikke. That save percentage continuing to go up. His 6th shutout in 13 games, I do believe now. Although, actually, it might end up being closer to 14 or 15 now. I can't quite remember for SAWO at this stage. But regardless, for Nikke, incredible numbers. But the thing I wanted to mention was something that you mentioned in the pregame about Saprix, and that is that the save percentage wasn't that bad despite the amount of goals allowed by Northern Ascendancy so far this season. We saw that on display yet again. An .870 save percentage for Saprix, while Northern Ascendancy, for the most part, were completely hemmed into their own zone.
Yeah, and that's what Saprix can do. And we've kind of mentioned at other times as he's been on sort of teams like this on the outside looking in or on these bubble teams that, he keeps playing as well as he has. And it's surprising that another, bigger team might, who needs a goalie is not snatching him up with the way he is kind of been playing. But that's, only to the benefit of Northern Ascendancy, because right now, he single-handedly kept them in that game until really the very end where they allowed that other goal. But Yeah, they were, again, I'll use the term under siege once more because that's simply what it was. Northern Ascendancy was trapped and they were, quickly just running out of time. And SAWO just completely bled them dry. They bled the clock. They bled anything that Northern Ascendancy wanted to do. They didn't even really get. I can't even think back to a A or B grade chance even that Northern
Yeah.
Ascendancy got. They were just completely kept to the perimeter, and when they tried to get to the inside, they were bodied out. They were poked out, and SAWO also got to the loose pucks. It was just from start to finish a completely one-sided game in the favor of SAWO.
It's one of those things where you have to wonder, right? Like, our job here is to kind of get people invested and to say, like, okay, well, here's what Northern Ascendancy can do to get back in it. I don't know what the answer is for them. I
Yeah.
mean, we saw, okay, maybe if Martindale can win more of the draws. Martindale did win the majority of the draws in that game. Ultimately did not matter for NA. They really couldn't get anything going in that particular outing. They fall to 3-8-4 on the season. Their
Yeah.
situation gets just a little bit worse. As we mentioned, you talk about just how much time some of these teams may have in terms of getting their season on track. And right now for Northern Ascendancy, I mean, it seems like at least a point is likely a must in this
Yeah.
game. I mean, up next, they don't have, I'd say, the most difficult schedule in the world. But after this, we'll actually see them in action again tomorrow against YMCA Esports, which will be nice. Then they have HV71, who are in a similar situation. ZSC, who are trying to push for a playoff spot. Jure Gordon, similar situation. And then it's just a murderer's row at the end of the season for them, as they
Yeah.
have IQ, H-Reds, and Goons. You are talking about the next week, really until like that first match day of February. If they don't get crucial points here, they're in big, big trouble.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And, it's a tough situation. Again, we mentioned the pregame. Tough situation to try to dig yourself out of the hole. But these are the teams that you have to beat. If you want to, work your way up, get into a playoff position, you're going to go up against a team like this. So that's kind of the task that Northern Ascendancy are faced with here. And again, that was close on the scoreboard, but in all the other underlying stats, I mean, that really was a one-sided game. So, and now it becomes kind of a mental advantage that SAWO has too. They completely dominated that. They're probably going to be in the heads of Northern Ascendancy a bit. Northern Ascendancy have to do their best to just put it out of their minds, as difficult as it is, and try to make some kind of adjustments. I kind of like what they did at the end, throwing pucks on net, looking for rebounds. That's probably their best bet against this SAWO team, and I'm curious to see if they're going to go for it in this next one from the start.
Again, SAWO in sole possession of second place here in the Elite Division, trying to add to that lead. And of course, again, as you see on screen, a little bit later on in this broadcast, again, our championship rematch for Lunda, looking to gain at least a little bit of revenge here in the regular season against our defending champions. Again, the still undefeated H-Reds, a perfect 14-0, looking to continue that beyond the midway point of the season. And of course, we'll have more information for you about tomorrow's broadcast as well a little bit later on here. Of course, it will be a couple of interesting matchups there as well. So, Sin, very intrigued to see what happens here. Northern Ascendancy, crucial points at stake. They need a result as they get ready to take on SAWO here one more time. And needless to say, that first goal, very, very important. And I think very important for Northern Ascendancy to not surrender it within the first 2.5 minutes of the game.
Definitely. That, they were set up in a rough position. They were able to kind of at least survive the assault of SAWO, but it was that first goal that, kind of kept SAWO in that advantageous position the entire time. And, I mean, just a quick breakout right there. Vatu even beats the defender wide, and Sparker Umbert will take a trip right there. And, I mean, we just mentioned it. They didn't surrender a goal, but putting yourself on the back foot like that this early on is definitely not a recipe for success. SAWO will go to the power play.
1 minute on the dot. Unfortunately for Northern Ascendancy, we'll get a look at their penalty kill. Again, SAWO in the home black unis and looking to start things off with a quick opening goal as Moja circles out. A little bit off the mark on the pass. Pressure from Dillinger. Wenger throws into the slot. Loose puck. Still up for grabs. Northern Ascendancy having to send that over to the corner. Batu shot glove saved by Saprix, and he'll cover.
Big save right there. Supreeks was caught on that first initial save as it was in tight. He was actually on his rump there for a good bit of time. Unfortunately for SAWO, they couldn't quite get that puck up and fire another one on net, but they still have about half the power play to work with.
Another face-off win for Mozia. Wenger gets it again, stepping in, throws it in front all the way through the slot. SAWO again able to maintain possession though. Tambu for Wenger. Vatu dishes down low, gets it back, swing and miss. Second chance, saved by Supreeks. Great job by the Northern Ascendancy netminder to stick with that one.
Yeah, these in-tight chances are not easy to save right there, and Supreeks has been doing it so far. Excellent job from him on this PK. Hopefully Northern Ascendancy can get a clear.
Vatu has it again trying to throw it in front, gets it back. Behind the goal line now. So I do believe we are back to 5-on-5. There we go, man out of the box. Mozia banks it off the back of the goal. And a loose puck back to the neutral zone. Tambu will dump it into that far side, but mistimed with the forwards. You get an offside call here. I mean, solid start for Northern Ascendancy to be able to kill off that opening penalty.
Yeah, absolutely massive. Again, they couldn't go down as early as they did in that first game here. And now it's about just surviving the initial kind of big push for SAWO here and try to get some offense of their own as a response.
Mozia has it down low. Ken tries to go back to Wenger, who last-ditch effort went to throw a backhand on net. Dillinger completely stifled. SAWO not able to maintain possession here. Again, Northern Ascendancy looking for their first goal against their opposition today. Sadapoika wires one high and wide. Does get the puck back here, though. Dillinger kicks back to the point. Sparker Ronberg nearly gave up a breakaway to Vatu. Ooh, just mistimed at the line there. Tansky a step behind. An offside call there.
That would have been a really nice play, though. Sadapoika with the right idea to sort of get that puck back, and you know, they could have ripped the shot on, maybe some traffic, looking for a deflection, something. I mean, I think everything's up in the air right now from Northern Ascendancy. They got to try a little bit of everything. So they're going to get the puck here.
Slap shot on. Hey, that's a little bit of everything right there. You don't often see that. Good save by Nike. Good pressure here. Martindale tried the short side. Second chance, and again, Nike is there. So calm and composed in the blue paint he's been this season.
Absolutely, and when he's got a team in front of him as he does, it's a bit more easy to remain that way throughout a game.
Tansky here has it knocked loose by Vatu. Again, those passes in front just not working out. Yurska, a bit of space on that left-hand side, cuts in. It is taken down by the contact at the last possible moment. But he is able to get back into the play and actually gets the interception. Martindale again taking away for NA. What a feed. Sadapoika, bit of space. What a shot. What a save by Nike Sin. Impressive handles from Sadapoika. But again, Nike able to stand tall.
Really good job from Sadapoika right there. Excellent bit of skating, creating the space, and they're just trying to throw a deceptive shot on, see if he can keep Nike or catch Nike off guard. But before that, what an excellent pass by Martindale. Sauced it up the middle right to Sadapoika. Stick and a one-time on. Saved by Nike again.
Dillinger down low in the corner, looking at his options. Goes for Martindale, and again, caught Tansky just off the boards. A mistake you simply can't make. That pass is off the mark and will go down for icing.
Yeah, it's just not a great situation for Northern Ascendancy to be as a defenseman there. Yeah, as you try to adjust with the play, and if you think that puck's going around the net, you want to begin to adjust either towards the middle of the ice or that one-time look. But again, just a little bit antsy. You know, they haven't had much offensive time. What a shot right there. And sometimes you just try to move a bit more early to get yourself in position. That split second earlier in that time came back to bite them.
Sadapoika dishes it down low. Nobody there. SAWO back in control. Just over 5 minutes to play here in our opening frame. Again, a 2-0 victory for SAWO in game number 1 as a bouncing puck couldn't be corralled by Yurska. We'll have another face-off here as well. Again, interested to see how that matchup plays out. Mozia entering play today with a gigantic advantage on the draws, but Martindale, for Northern Ascendancy, did win the majority of the draws in that first contest. It's SAWO back in the attacking zone. Tambu was pinching up there, gets a little bit caught. Let's see how much speed Sadapoika can generate. Arms in tight, he's aerodynamic. One-timer from the point. And it's blocked by the traffic in front one more time. As it is now, Northern Ascendancy again back in on the attack. Apologies for any technical difficulties we might be having, any disruptions. 2 minutes remaining here in the first. Still looking for our opening goal.
No offense, kid. Would have done the same to anybody.
Testing, 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 testing. Oh, fun. Oh, good. Hello, stream. Welcome to Technical Difficulties, the streaming experience. Beautiful. We're back, everybody. Sin's still gone. But we're here. We're going to solo this bad boy for the last 1 minute and 39 seconds. Where unfortunately, that means I'm probably about 5 seconds behind the game time. So, at the very least, we'll work with what we have. Much like Northern Ascendancy. Working with what they have. Which unfortunately hasn't been much. I'm sorry. To Martindale especially. He might take it hard. But we are dealing with some lovely technical difficulties. We're doing what we can. And we'll see what happens. And hopefully, maybe, possibly, potentially, we'll be able to set the stage for our main event and championship rematch. That'll be coming up in just a little bit. Who knows? We might have to delay that just a tad. Just a smidge to make sure that we can bring to you that broadcast. We'll have to make it up to Northern Ascendancy tomorrow. So SAWO's already had their day in the spotlight previously on Monday. And another day in the spotlight today. As, can you believe it? 2 games. 2 shutouts for Nikkei. Incredible work. Incredible action. Incredibly done well. I don't know. Anyway, everybody, what we're going to do here, because again, we are still working with our technical difficulties on this side of things. I am going to take a step away. We will be back, hopefully. Sin will be back with us. We'll talk about the action that was for SAWO. Congratulations to them for 2 more wins. We'll talk about everything. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you for sticking with us. And shout out to Discord for, as our lovely producer put it in chat, for shatting the bed. We'll be back with you in a minute.